And what I now understand is this is not always going to be the next 20 seconds aren't promised.
Right.
The next 20 minutes, the next 20 days. So I think if we change the way we view our body, and that it is temporary, and surely we will all die. I think we'll change the way we spend our time here on the earth. You know what I mean? You'll put some things in perspective. So know your foundation. This is temporary. Your body will die. We have a soul, the personality of us. The soul encompasses the human will, our understanding, our immortal personality. Our souls even have sensations, thoughts, and desires of their own that drive us. And it can be affected by the issues of this world. And lastly, part of our foundation is our spirit. You were created in God's image.
Yeah.
So you get it from your daddy. I like that. You do. You get it from your daddy. This is your foundation. We have his DNA. If he has a DNA, and he does. He has an element. Spiritual, wonderful, supernatural presence. DNA still. Genesis 1:27 says, so God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. So God, and this is how, if we walk in this, we're going to do some things differently. We're going to think of ourselves very differently on the inside. Because it's not just all this, all that. Say all that. All that. It's not all that. It isn't. We actually have spirits. The spirit part that once all that dies, we're going to have something else that lives on. And so, because God, the Father, is our Father, and he created us and he molded us, and he's a spirit, well, surely, so my dad's spirit, he created me, so most likely I'm a spirit. You know what I mean? It's 1 + 1 = 2. So if you kind of simplify it to say, well, I have to be a spirit if he created me, then that means we can't neglect that part of us. We can't. And that's where that imbalance comes in. That's when the world is so much louder and brighter and prettier and everything. And it impacts us in such a big way because we forget about the spiritual side. Because we got all this over here. And we just get, and we, you know, bless our hearts. God is so awesome that he just didn't cut us off. Because we just act so ignorant to the fact that we're his. But thank God for grace and mercy. But we have the world and it's loud and it bombards us and just takes over our lives. And we get busy and, you know. So, and all the while, our spirit man lies dormant. You know what I'm saying? And we don't feed it the way we, and even though, and those of us that go to church all the time, if you know, kind of reflect, sometimes, you know, I can do a little more to kind of strengthen my spirit man. So as a part of our foundation, understanding we're body, we're soul, and we're a spirit, if you put that at the forefront of your foundation, the world system isn't going to seem so systematic. It's not going to seem so important. If you keep the foundation, so you cleaned out the junk, the beauty killers, right? We know what they are. We know what we didn't get when we were little. We know the guy broke our heart. And we know, okay, yeah, we know all that. And we're going to pray that God heals us out of that too. We're going to walk in healing. So now we got the clean, and so we clean the face, and then now we have the foundation of who we are. And that's a powerful, just confession of who you are is powerful all in itself. So then the third part of the makeover, it's time for our eyes. And I have to say that's my favorite part of a makeover. I love eyeshadows and colors. Okay, that's just personal, I'm just saying. I love that part because it makes them pop. So what's eyeshadow and mascara for? It's used to enhance the eyes. We already have beautiful eyes, but they're used to make them pop and, you know, accentuate the shape and make them real gorgeous. So we are trained by society, by our own internal measuring system, to judge each other based upon what we see. That's why I say our eyes are next.
Wow.
We're trained to look at the physical attributes. We're trained to look at the material, the car and the house and the shoes and the degrees and the whatever else. Our eyes have been trained by the world to judge each other this way, how people look. But the true beauty of a person should be based on their character and the purity of their heart.
Yes.
So we need to enhance our sight, our spiritual sight.
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 and 4 says, don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. Now, he wasn't saying that to say don't care. You know, it's balance. Because this will fade. We already talked about body, and that, you know, we were born and then we're just going to die. I mean, that's just it. So what you going to spend your time in? And, you know, what are you going to put all your time into? It's something that's like, what do they say, when you purchase a car, brand new, beautiful, Rolls Royce, whatever your best car is, whatever you want. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's already depreciated.
Right.
And that was like 5 seconds. All you did was roll down into the street. Boop. Already. The value already went down. That's us. As soon as we were born, as beautiful as you were, with your pretty selves, you know, your body is going through changes to die. That's the truth. Don't be scared. It's just a part of life. So we're not going to spend, going forward, we're not going to spend all of our energy in just making this beautiful and all that we do to it. We're going to start putting and investing time, precious time, into what's really going to live on forever. Ultimately, God is the one we should be pleasing.
Yes.
So let's do everything as unto God. Jesus wasn't even bamboozled by the exterior of people. He had eyes like no other. In Matthew 23, he criticized some of the religious leaders, the Pharisees, who were the teachers of that day. And he told, and he was preaching in front of the people, the apostles, and he told them, he says, they don't practice what they teach. Matthew 23 and 28 said, Jesus said, outwardly, and he's talking about and to the Pharisees, the religious leaders. Outwardly, you look like righteous people, but inwardly, your hearts are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. Ouch. He just kind of called them out. And let me see. I have it's a really long section, but I underlined some key points. He said, you blind Pharisee, first wash the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will become clean, too. So work on the inside, and all this will fall into place. Okay, get your spirit man in order. He said, hypocrites. I mean, he was just calling them out. Calling them out. For you are like whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but filled on the inside with dead people's bones and all sorts of impurity. Outwardly, you look like righteous people, but inwardly, your hearts are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. So on the outside, and they would wear like beautiful garbs, and they would walk pious through the streets of the towns, and everyone knew. You know, they had status. They had status. Religious leaders and all, but they were respected. They had status. They could make judgments against you, and the police and the kings and whoever, they would react just because the Pharisees said so. They had status, and they looked it, but their hearts were not right. They were hypocrites. Jesus had eyes like no other. He's like, y'all can be fooled if you want to, but I know what's in you. That's why it's important for us to be honest, because God already knows. So we need to make sure that the inside is matured and we grow it, because that's what's going to last forever. Amen?
Amen.
So we can't be so concerned with our outward appearance that we don't pay special attention to our internal selves. And I'm almost done. The last part of the makeover is the lips. We often add a moisturizing gloss or a lipstick, that soothes the lips. Nowadays, we have stuff that even has SPF 15 in it.
That's right.